The sun hammered the marble steps of the Fulton County Courthouse like it had something personal against the state of Georgia. Officer Ricky Callahan, 6'3" of pure gym muscle and zero empathy, tightened the cuffs until the steel-kissed bone on the wrists of the tall black man in the charcoal Tom Ford suit. His partner, Officer Brett Hargrove, the one who still wore his high school linebacker haircut at 34, rocked back on his heels and laughed so hard his body shook. "You got 5 minutes to get out of here before we again, buddy?" Callahan sneered, spinning the man toward the street. "The zoo's that way. They're missing one." The crowd of onlookers gasped, phones already up. Someone yelled, "World Star." Someone else yelled something that would get them arrested in 3 other states. The man in the suit didn't flinch. He just looked at the courthouse doors, then back at the officers, and said in a voice calm enough to stop traffic, "5 minutes is all I need." Then he smiled, the kind of smile that makes rattlesnakes change their religion, and let them march him down the steps like they were doing him a favor. Callahan shoved him toward the patrol car parked crooked on the sidewalk, lights flashing like it was Christmas in July. Hargrove popped the back door and barked, "Watch your head, Your Majesty." The man ducked in without a word. The second the door slammed, Callahan turned to the crowd, chest puffed like a rooster on TikTok. "Y'all can go home. Nothing to see. Just another clown who thought he could stroll up in here like he owns the Placia." The crowd booed. A white lady in a pantsuit screamed, "You can't talk to people like that." Callahan winked at her. "Yes, ma'am, I can. It's called freedom of speech." Hargrove high-fived him. They were still laughing when they slid into the front seat, slapping the dash like they'd just won the Super Bowl. Callahan keyed the mic. "Unit 22, we got a 10-103M. Disturbance at the courthouse. Suspect in custody. ETA to central lockup, 10 minutes. Dispatch crackled back, 10-4, Unit 22. Neither officer noticed the time stamp on the body cam. 9 hours 21 minutes and 47 seconds. Neither noticed the man in the back seat mouthing numbers, counting down from 300. At exactly 9 hours 26 minutes and 12 seconds, 28 seconds before their promised 5-minute mark expired, the courthouse doors burst open again. A bailiff in a crisp navy uniform sprinted down the steps 2 at a time, waving both arms like he was flagging a plane. "Callahan, Hargrove, freeze." The officers turned, smirking, ready to clown the bailiff too. The smirk died when they saw who was walking behind him. Same height, same braids pulled back neat, same face. But now the charcoal suit was covered by a flowing black judicial robe, gold embroidery on the collar catching sunlight like fire. The gavel in his right hand looked heavy enough to crack marble. The man they'd just thrown in the back of their cruiser stopped 10 feet away, tilted his head, and spoke in the same calm voice. "Officers, you're relieved of duty effective immediately. Step out of the vehicle and place your weapons on the hood." The crowd lost its natural mind. Someone started clapping a rhythm like it was Sunday service. Someone else yelled, "That's Judge Mother-Lovin' Carter." Callahan's face cycled through every shade of red Crayola ever invented. Hargrove's mouth opened and closed like a goldfish who'd just read the fine print on the bowl. The bailiff, Ms. Loretta Hayes, 52 years old and zero chill, snatched Callahan's keys from his hand so fast he didn't realize until she was already opening the back door. Judge Elijah Carter stepped forward, robe whipping in the wind like Batman if Batman had a JD from Harvard and a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas. He reached in, unlocked the cuffs with his own key, and rubbed the red marks on his wrists like they were nothing more than a minor inconvenience. Then he looked straight into Callahan's body cam. "For the record, my name is Elijah Jeremiah Carter, duly appointed Superior Court Judge for the Northern Judicial Circuit. I was on my way to preside over docket 2025 CR 4471, the state versus Michael Drayton, a case involving police brutality. Funny how the universe works." He smiled again, colder this time. "Gentlemen, you just assaulted and falsely imprisoned a sitting judge in front of 300 witnesses and 12 live streams. How's that retirement plan looking now?" The next 4 minutes were pure chaos wrapped in karma and deep-fried in front of a live studio audience. Callahan tried to speak. Only squeaks came out. Hargrove dropped his duty belt like it was radioactive. Ms. Loretta was already on her radio calling the chief judge, the sheriff, the GBI, and probably the ancestors. Judge Carter raised one hand and the entire block went silent. Officer Callahan, Officer Hargrove, you are both under arrest for violation of oath of office, false imprisonment, assault on a judicial officer, and deprivation of rights under color of law, Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242. That's federal fellas. Turn around. The crowd started chanting, turn around, like it was the cha-cha slide. Callahan actually tried to run. He made it 3 whole steps before Ms. Loretta, former Marine, tackled him like a linebacker sacking a quarterback who'd talked about her mama. Hargrove just put his hand behind his back and started crying. Real tears. Snot and everything. Somebody in the crowd played Bad Boys on their phone. The algorithm was gonna eat for weeks. Inside Courtroom 4B 20 minutes later, the gallery was standing room only. News trucks lined Marietta Street 3 deep. Judge Carter sat on the bench, robe zipped to the throat, looking like God's younger, angrier brother. The defendant, Michael Drayton, a 29-year-old black mechanic who'd been beaten half to death during a traffic stop 6 months earlier, sat at the defense table with tears streaming down his face. Not because he was scared anymore, but because the man about to decide his fate was the same man who'd just been cuffed in his place. The prosecutor, a nervous white woman named Karen who'd clearly never lost a case she cared about, kept glancing at the door like she was expecting Jesus himself to walk in and co-sign her motion to dismiss. Judge Carter banged the gavel so hard the sound cracked through the live stream. This court will come to order. For those just joining us, 39 minutes ago I was assaulted, battered, racially profiled, and falsely imprisoned by 2 officers of the Atlanta Police Department who apparently missed the mandatory training on not putting judges in handcuffs. The gallery erupted. He banged again. Silence. The state versus Michael Drayton is called. Miss Proctor, your motion. Karen stood up, knees knocking. Your Honor. The state moves to dismiss all charges with prejudice and offers its profound apology to Mr. Drayton. Judge Carter leaned forward. Apology noted. Motion granted. Mr. Drayton, you are free to go. This court further orders the City of Atlanta to pay you $5 million in compensatory damages by close of business tomorrow, or I will start seizing police cars and selling them on eBay, starting with Unit 22. The gallery lost it again. Michael Drayton stood up, walked to the bench, and hugged Judge Carter so hard the robe almost came unzipped. I told my mama somebody up there loved us, he whispered. Judge Carter whispered back, tell your mama the love is down here, too. But the story doesn't end there, because karma doesn't do half measures. 3 days later, Internal Affairs found Callahan's personal phone full of texts calling black defendants the N-word, calling the mayor a monkey, calling his own sergeant a house unoa. Hargrove's phone had videos of him planting drugs on teenagers for sport. Both were fired before the ink dried on the termination letters. The FBI picked them up on federal charges before they could finish crying to Fox News. And Judge Carter? He didn't just win the day. He started the Elijah Carter Justice Fund, seated with his own salary, dedicated to defending every single person those 2 officers had ever arrested. Within 6 months, 47 cases overturned, $23 million in settlements, and 1 brand new community center built on the exact spot where Callahan used to park his patrol car crooked. A year later, on the anniversary of the incident, Elijah Carter stood on those same courthouse steps, this time surrounded by Michael Drayton, Ms. Loretta, and 300 kids from the new center wearing T-shirts that said, 5 minutes is all I need. He held up the same gavel, now polished and mounted on a plaque. They thought they were teaching me a lesson, he said, voice carrying without a mic. But the only lesson here is this. Never let anybody's small mind tell you how big your future can be. The crowd roared. Somebody started singing, Ain't No Stoppin' Us Now. Somebody else set off fireworks they definitely didn't have a permit for. And somewhere, in a 6x8 cell with no window, Rick Callahan and Brett Hargrove heard the celebration through a tiny speaker on the evening news, and for the first time in their lives, they understood what 5 minutes really means. So tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from right now? Atlanta? Chicago? Little town in Mississippi nobody ever heard of? Drop your city, drop your state, let us know the underdog is everywhere. And if the story hit you in the chest the way it hit me, do 3 things. Like, share, and subscribe, because tomorrow we're dropping the full body cam footage the department tried to bury, plus the secret recording from inside the patrol car where Callahan said word for word what he thought was going to happen to Judge Carter downtown. You don't want to miss it. Until then, keep your head up, keep your hands free, and remember, 5 minutes is all you need when destiny's already written the ending. Peace.